Doing my Sunday morning run. Rushing to work. Should have left half an hour ago. Sunday morning, so hard. I just don't sleep on Saturday nights. And because I go to bed earlier, mind goes wandering, never stops. The only thing that put me to sleep is at around about 3:30 in the morning, roughly. I put on some of my audios, my podcasts, and then it was really hard to wake up because my body hadn't had enough sleep. Sundays. So maybe I should listen to audios earlier or change every other day to match a new body clock. I'm just rambling to see if there's any thoughts that I want to get out this morning before I start work. I don't think my brain's kicked into gear yet. Oh no, I've got a train. It is what it is. So I don't think I'll have time for a coffee when I get to work today. That's a shame. I had an interesting interaction with a workmate yesterday. He's pretty much the only one at work that at least uses his mind to explore outside of the world that we see. He is more conscious, and he is Muslim, so he has a religion, so he does believe in more than what most of us believe in because of that. So that, you know, like the way that religion works, you know, if you've got a religion, you believe there's God, you believe in good and evil spirits, you believe in prayer, gratitude, all that kind of stuff. So it's not because he's Muslim that I resonate with him a lot, but at least from that particular space, versus an atheist who doesn't believe in anything. You know what I mean? Like, atheists don't, you can't talk about crazy stuff with atheists, but you can talk a little bit crazy with devout religious people, because they are I've decided I'm going to get a coffee from McDonald's, so that I do have time for a coffee, because there's another half an hour to go to drive, and then I could drink it on the way instead of when I'm there. Yeah, so there's this guy at work, and he's pretty much the only one that I can talk different ideas with, although I can't talk to him about my experiences, I don't think. But if there was anyone at work that I could, it would be him. And going through my crazy over the last couple of months, like, I was very surprised that he didn't just call me out on it, because not that it's his role or job or anything like that, but if I noticed him going a little bit loopy, probably would, you know, let him know. But I was going pretty loopy. And what was interesting is when I talked to him yesterday and just said, you know, like, if you notice me going crazy, please just be honest with me and tell me I'm going crazy, because I didn't know what was reality. I didn't know what was real and didn't know what was not real. And he said, honestly, I didn't even notice. And out of everybody there, he should be the one that notices. He said, I know that ever since I met you, you've just been like this happy person. So I only noticed that things were not right when you started to get unhappy. So he didn't know when I was at my deepest crazy was when I was like in la la land, like really happy, he didn't actually recognise that was when I was having a mental breakdown. And I just find that really interesting that, you know, I mean, I'm trying to view what I was like to other people when I was having my mental breakdown. And thinking, like, because when you're in that, when I was in that, I was also thinking I understood where, like, when you're, whatever you're in, you see other people as in. Or at least that's what I was, you know. So, yeah, it's really interesting talking to him yesterday and him saying, I would have, but I didn't even notice. You just, you know, when you're happy, that's you, you're happy. And I just made him promise that if he notices anything weird with me, and then I noticed, to let me know, and then I had a realisation that with him, the first time I spoke to him outside of work was the day after my first big experience, which was March 2014 or March 2015. I'm going to have to look that up. When I had that access to all information experience, and I spoke to him the next day, and I said to him, maybe I've been crazy since that time. Like, now I'm trying to pinpoint how long I've been crazy. Yeah, I'll go and get my coffee because I'm running out of time. So as far as looking for triggers, I'm no longer looking for triggers. I just took notes on what could trigger me. But since I went through them all and none of them trigger me, I really don't have much to work on unless it triggers me. And then I can, yeah, so I think I've released a hell of a lot just in sharing what I did about the past. I think there was something in there that I needed to, you know, some story in there that I needed to share, some victim in me that needed to be a victim again for a little while, some emotion in me that needed to be acknowledged and expressed, and now that that's been acknowledged, there doesn't seem to be anything to work on. I'm sure that as I navigate through this world that things will come up, but I'm no longer seeing it as a mission to try and discover all my triggers. I don't know what next, but that's what I've made a decision on, is that I'm not getting triggered. Like, until I get a trigger, there's nothing to work on, because I don't know, you know, it's like I'm living a good life, why mess with the good thing? You know what I mean? Like, all is well, why poke at a sore? Trying to make it not well, trying to ruffle my own feathers. But I did need to do that while my feathers were ruffled, to try and find out what was ruffling my feathers. So now that nothing's ruffling my feathers, yeah, I'm not looking for triggers. And if it pops up, if a trigger pops up, I intend, and I'll see if it works or not, to not let it... See, my past tools would make me try to get rid of the emotion completely. So my past tools would be noticing the trigger and trying to get to a best feeling thought at the time. Now my technique will differ. If I get a trigger now, it'll be to feel into the pain, to recognize and acknowledge it, and try and discover where it came from, where it stemmed from, where it originated from, see what I need to learn from it, see why it's coming up, not try to use my other tools to get to a better, happier place, because now I know that if I can release that, then it doesn't come up again. The same feeling won't come up again. And I've noticed, and I've got to go into work because I'm running late. But I think I'm running late. I don't know because I can't see because of the video. But I have noticed that the things that used to trigger me, little things that used to make me, it would come up and then I would reach for the happier place and get rid of it that way. Those things actually, it's like I'm missing them. Like the same trigger will happen and I'm like, oh, nothing happened. There's like a realization that normal trigger is no longer even there. So doing what I did, going through the past thing, has actually released a lot of the triggers on completely unrelated things. But they must have been related in some way. Like they must have originated from one of the past things. And now, yeah, it's not there. I better go because I'm not sure what the time is. Bye. Yeah, now it's more of a, what happened then? I'm not... It's like a recognition that nothing's there. It's like an auto response would normally be there that I would have to work with, and now the auto response is, hang on, like a pop-up blocker. Except it's just a minimal, subtle thing. So it's like that should have hurt. That should have given me anxiety. That should have been uncomfortable. That should have caused some kind of discomfort. That would normally punch me in the gut. That would normally make me reach for anything that would get me to a better place, get me to my high. And it's like, oh, it's missing. So that's one thing I've noticed, is that things like, I noticed it at work, things that would normally just a little pulse that I would have to ease. It's sort of like more of a stop and go, and with family, my sister and my mum are very close. Mum rings her and talks to her for an hour a day or something, and they're really close, whereas me and Mum don't have that same kind of relationship. And the other day, the day that I was sick, she went out there with the kids to my mum's house and spent the day there, and normally I would get some kind of feeling of being left out, and that I would just have to work through, and normally it would only take me less than a minute to work through. It'd be like this punch in the gut, and then it would be like being okay with it. And this time it was like, there should be a punch in the gut here, and I'm perfectly fine. So that was interesting. It's interesting for me to notice that change in me from whatever place I'm in now. Yeah. Okay. Better go into work now. I'm on my break.